One of the seven signs of the agile-pocalypse is chaos. And chaos seems to be the watchword of almost every organization's digital transformation, agile transformation, whatever watchword transformation they're using at the moment. And it comes out as kind of two things that result in chaos. One is about the work, and then one is about how we do the work. So the one about the work is really about poor product ownership results in chaos, right? And it results in chaos because if we've got no well communicated goals, then everybody's able to go in whatever direction they like. If you think of you've got trust, and you've got no trust, trust, autonomy, and alignment. And where do you fit in that story in your organization? So most organizations create high levels of alignment by having lots of rigorous project management things going on. They have milestones and they have dates that you have to hit, and most of those dates are just somebody's decided what that date is, right? There's not a reason for that date, just they've decided it, but it creates this bounded environment within which everybody moves forward. But when you remove the milestones and the Gantt charts and the deadlines, what would you expect to happen if you don't fill that void with anything but chaos, right? That nobody knows what direction they're supposed to go, what needs to be done, when. How do we create that bounded environment in the agile space is very different from how we created it in the traditional management and traditional project management structure. So the way we do that is, and we talk about it in the product owner class, is vision, value, and validation. You need to create this core strategic direction so that everybody understands what direction they're going in. Talked about it recently in the evidence-based management class as well. You've got your strategic objective. That's your reach for your North Star is your strategic objective. And then because that's like a reach and it's a bit far out, it's difficult for people to see how the work that they're doing every day connects to that story. So you need some kind of intermediate strategic goal that brings that into, it's not a stretch anymore. This is something we think we can work towards, right? It's progress towards our reach, our North Star, but that gets us there. And then we can start thinking about, what are we tactically going to do? What are our tactical goals? What are we going to do? What's our next step we're going to take towards that next destination in our journey towards our North Star, our outcome? And then we can start to see how the work we're doing every day, people doing the work can see how the work they're doing every day connects to the tactical goal, connects to the intermediate strategic goal, and helps work towards fulfilling the overall strategic goal and North Star. And with that connection, you enable all of those people at every level in your organization, depending on what level they're looking at, what level of goals they care about, right? At every level in your organization, to make decisions themselves that best fulfills the vision and purpose of the organization, because they all understand and are going in the same direction. But if you don't have that, if you don't provide that, and you take away the milestones and Gantt charts and reports, suddenly there's chaos, right? So that's one way that chaos occurs. The other way I mentioned was in implementation chaos. This is the meta information around how you do a digital, agile, DevOps, whatever thing you want to put in front of it, transformation, some kind of change in your organization. And this is really around poor communication, right? You don't involve the people doing the work in the story that you're trying to tell, and you don't communicate that story that you're trying to tell back to them in a way that helps them understand that continuously reinforces the story that we're trying to get to. And what I see most organizations do is somebody really senior in the organization sends out an email saying, we're going to move in this new direction, we're going to do this new thing. And that's it. They just magically expect things to happen. And what really happens is every single person in your organization interprets that email differently. Every single person then takes that interpretation, and over time, as they add more information to that interpretation, they all start going in slightly different directions. So even if from that one email, everybody ended up going in the same direction, they start to fragment and you end up with chaos because you've got loads of different people pulling the organization in different directions. So in order to create that, we're moving in this direction, just like the goals for what direction are we taking the product, what are we actually building. We also need goals on what do we want our organizational culture to look like? How are we measuring people in order to get them to go in that direction? A great joke in that space is if you give developers a bonus for the number of bugs that they find and fix in their code, all of your developers will end up writing themselves a very large bonus, right? Because they can just go add the problem that they can then fix and get the kudos for fixing it. If you reward firefighters, you breed arsonists, right? If it's within that same package. So what you need to do instead is you need to look at how are we measuring and incentivizing people, right? Because the measures and incentives that you create in your organization are the things that drive behaviors. We think it's the goals that we created over here, right? But if your measures and incentives are at odds to the goals, it's going to start pulling people in a different direction, pulling them in a way that does something different, pulling them perhaps in the opposite direction because you've not actually changed the system. The measures and incentives are part of the system within which everybody's operating. So you need to focus on how do we understand how those measures are impacting on people's behaviors and continuously tweak those measures in order to maintain the direction and people working together towards that goal and communicate everything effectively. You can't just say to everybody, we're going to do something new. No, you have to change the measures so they can see that we're doing something new. And then you have to continuously reinforce what it is we're doing, what direction we're going, why we're going there, how they can help, how they're contributing to the story. And you continually build that picture towards going in that new direction. Otherwise, you end up with chaos. Chaos of building the wrong thing, or chaos of just going in the wrong direction. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, follow, and subscribe. I always reply to comments, and if you want to have a chat about this or anything else Agile, Scrum, or DevOps, then please book a coffee with me through NKDAgility.